What's up, everybody? Good morning. How y'all doing? I think lately I've been no camera mode. It's actually kind of nice. Now I'm really serious on the challenge here. I'm not waking up to like fiddle with the green screen and all the cameras and everything. Not yet. I have this whole new thing I'm going to do for presentation. It's going to be super dope. I haven't been able to build it though because I've been rushing to build all this stuff for the futures data that's coming through on the platform, and of course the monthly maps and the big merger that's going to happen this week. So kind of excited. So that means I've been staying up late, sleeping in, and just not really combing my hair or shaving. I kind of have that woodsman look. So without the all the bright lights turning on my face, it actually feels kind of nice to just hear my PJs. All right, let's talk about the mornings. I'm running a little late today, so let's get started super quick. No goofing around. Let's get our DD numbers. Let me run the bot. DD numbers are going to talk about the rational, irrational. We had non-farms today. We have to be very careful, making sure that we are not on the irrational side of things. Let me run the bot really quick. It should update the numbers in the Discord. Just give me like 2 seconds here. Let me double check everything is correct. Remember, we did have a catalyst this morning, likely for the non-farms. So you need to double check, or that it isn't a catalyst. 4164. Okay, that's good. 670. We're gonna do a little quick conversion on these numbers here. Okay, cool. And the bot. Whatever. There we go. Okay. Everybody, make sure you like the stream. Give us some love. Dev, 7 day. I was about to say Devin say here. I see. I'm still not even awake yet. My tongue will switch up. 7 day streak. Pretty cool. Remember, we have these impact and run length red lines we need to take note of that are still here. High SPY for 16.99 right here. It's close enough. Low SPY is going to be 411.13. Now remember, these are numbers I'm doing quickly just to get on here for the conversion. We have a conversion channel in Discord that makes it even easier for y'all to get this. Some of our guys, Nick and others, they do these every morning for the team. They're just volunteers from the group. It's very awesome to have members step up and do this. So when we get our futures data, it'll all be automated, and that's gonna be super great. You'll be able to trade futures and stocks and options after that with rockets here. So we're becoming real full-time traders, daytime traders looking for a place to do your trading. Eventually we'll be trading inside of the platform as well. What's up? Let's not read the comments. Good morning to you guys. Ben, Alaska, hey, I saw you signed up. Welcome to the group. Send a message to Slacks or somebody to get your roles in the Discord. I saw you sign up, so we haven't lost yet. Well, thank you. I went on a 70-day streak last time. Now, streaks are not common, so I don't think it'll happen all the time, but hey, we're on day 7. Haven't lost a trade. Not only haven't lost a day yet, but haven't lost a trade yet. It's really weird to look at the loss column of the P&L and it still says 0. There's not even stats on it, and that's kind of great. I mean, not to say anything, I like to be very humble and like to say that I'm remarkably average, and people just always try to correct that, but I like to stay humble because I feel like the universe doesn't reward evilness. The universe doesn't reward people that behave purely in self-interest. I really do care about teaching and enhancing y'all's understanding of markets, but it's really weird to see after a week of trading, it's not even populated the loss column, because not only haven't I lost a day, I haven't lost a trade or a single contract. I've all been winning. So 82 contracts, I haven't a single loser, which is cool. I'm stepping up the risk at a scale of a fraction. The margin requirement, or say the net lick divided by margin requirement, limits me close to about 10 micros right now, or 1 mini. So I'm only going to trade micros just to get that, what they call my little granularity on entries, so I could have a couple entries to play with. So just popping 1 mini in there. 304.67 and 309.96. What else did somebody say? First time you seen that ES touch DD before NQ? Yeah, that's interesting, right? It becomes particularly random which ones can touch first. Lately, it has to do with the market that you're in, right? In key, you have to consider like it's not really. And I like to treat it like it's not really an index. It's just like an ETF, like similar to like an ARC or something. Even though it is, it's not purely an index because it's not. In my opinion, it's not because it's not diversified. So like the Russell is diversified, right? The S&P is diversified. That represents the stock market in general, small cap, large cap. The NASDAQ kind of leaves out a few sectors, a lot of sectors actually. So the NASDAQ is its own animal. In reality, what you want to do is compare the Russell and the S&P touching first. We had a lesson on that. A kind of cool icebreaker is that in bear markets, people tend to get into safer stuff first. And in bull markets, people tend to chase riskier stuff first. So in the bear market, you're going to see the S&P touch its own bands before the Russell, and vice versa. In a bull market, you might see the Russell become irrational first. And so the NASDAQ is going to be kind of random in between the two based on the strength of the major sectors in NASDAQ. You know, three majors being telecom, or tech, healthcare, and telecom, right? Karan, hey, did you sign up for the extended trial, my man? Hey, I followed you on Twitter, by the way. Now I know who you are. I didn't know that was you. You may catch that DD Long. You trading off of that non-farms? Boy, let me tell you something. You got some balls, man. That is a killer move. In that non-farm, get a little scalp off of it. There's a bottom DD band. We are opening rational, which is nice. Ooh, I hope we stay here with the BLU. I'd love to get a trade right back up to here. Now let's measure to see if it is a catalyst. Remember, 29.5 points off of the anchor. So 41, 71, 95. Actually, let's just get a. Did I draw any boxes before? Okay, we're gonna draw one real quick. Is this a catalyst? Remember, catalyst is the first thing you need to check to see if you are irrational. And let's see if we are irrational. Let's stop trying to auto arrange my screens windows. 29.5. Let's draw a quick box. Edit properties, and we're gonna do this. All right, you know how to do this? So we're gonna measure right at the anchor point, and anytime you're beyond this band, it's gonna mark this a catalyst. Ooh, uh-oh. Catalyst active, right? That's my new sound for when things mess up. When you eat a Pac-Man goes. I think that's the sound I made. Okay, there you go. Your anchor point. Let's do it. So anything outside of this box, catalyst is active. One of our major anchor point rules. I mean, irrational rules. This anchor point. Let's kind of measure it, and we even triggered a little bit of logic going on. This market did push. Maybe I have to look. Did we skip a tick? No, we didn't. Okay, we do have an existing anchor point right here. So I want everybody to make this. Did I think I made a yellow line and red line channel in the Discord. If not, I'll do it today. Can't remember if I did it or not. Y'all were asking for it until it comes out automated. Matt's red lines. Oh yeah, I did. Okay, it's in there. Cool. So keep in mind, and we're gonna mark NASDAQ as well. 109. This is a trick. Everybody, make sure you do this. Smash that like button while you're waiting. 15 minutes till market opens. If you've never been to the stream before, welcome for the first time. Like I said, there's two types of traders in this world. There are traders. There are traders who show broker statements and they just say, hey, watch it. You like what you see? Cool. You don't, you don't. Other traders are the rest of the world is filled up with toxic paper traders pointing at each other, trying to say who's the biggest scam of the scammers. There's a whole deep, seedy place in Twitter that I've been, that, you know, the important people like don't even know it exists, right? They think that people see it, nobody sees it, but there is that weird, seedy side of Twitter that does exist where the weirdos are. And so don't listen to the weirdo if you've been indoctrinated by a weirdo. Let me just tell you, results are all that matters, and weirdos, especially weirdos with something to sell, always have something to say. But people that have good stats just say, you know, just watch, give it a chance. there might be a little something here. And you might be used to just jumping from weirdo to weirdo and biting on the most aggressive sales pitch from the weirdos. But in all honesty, just there are people that show you their stats and you like what you see, give it a shot. That's it. My stats talk. I don't do any talking. But actually, I do talk a lot on the stream. But, you know, like I said, I'm an okay trader. I'm not terrible. Ben Fisher, first time you say so. Justin, hey, what's up, Justin Howard, my man? How you doing today? You've been killing it, dude. I've been looking at your stats. I've been seeing it. I like it. Have you announced who the merger is with? Not yet. But you guys are going to love it. I promise. I promise. Okay, let's talk about the stats that came through this morning. I was going to tell you there are 3 massive things happening for Rocket Scooter this week socially. I might even announce the other 2 things. I've been just announcing the merger. And so I'm let the other 2 things surprise you when they do happen. Trust me when I say it's going to be like back to back to back. By the time you're done absorbing the merger, there's going to be like another big thing that happens. ISM non-manufacturing dropping 10, just FYI. Thank you for reminding me. I love when you guys come here and remind me the stats in the news. Can you look at UAN? Bugoslas? Yes, we will. As soon as the market opens, we'll run the calcs on it. Best trader on YouTube. You got this, bro. 100K. Well, thank you, Joe. Appreciate you. Are you back from vacation yet? Really? Best trader on YouTube? That's sweet. I would disagree, but thank you. I have some pretty good traders out there. I'm all right. Did I ever get my financial certs? No. You missed the merger announcement? Don't worry about it. You'll hear all about it when it's coming out. We're not gonna let you miss it. Okay, let's talk about the fundamental stats. But I at some point I might pursue all of those. But when we started making Rocket Scooter, that just kind of pivoted everything that I was building. So I've had all of my efforts have gone into the platform. I don't know if I want to be a financial advisor. When's the deadline for lifetime payment for this price? Sunday. That's right. Letting everybody know. Sunday, all of our deals are going away. The 99 for life going away. 10% off lifetime going away. Everything is going away. If you are not in, you got to get in. Either do the extended trial to lock that in so that you can be available to get that when we do close the doors. But everything in Rocket Scooter is changing this week. Do not sleep on this. And imagine this. If you're like, well, I'll just chill on the YouTube. That's going to change. You're going to miss a lot of the stuff if you're just on the YouTube. So let me give you all what y'all need to get the... Okay. So here is where you do this. The extended trial. We need some guinea pigs. You'll get a very awesome hookup if you do this. So what's going to happen is Rocket Scooter is going to change its pricing. Because we have a new product line coming out. And what's going to happen is that when futures data comes streaming to us, things are going to change a little bit. So we're going to have a new pricing model to compensate for some of these things. Can I merge with LA Fitness? You need a discount, bro. Let me tell you something. Yes, 100%. We're going to be. We should merge with LA Fitness and maybe like Palm Beach Tan, so that we can just look sexy and feel sexy. Okay, we got 9 minutes to market opens. Let's get serious though. Do this, okay? We have this thing, right, where you get all of our data and everything that ever comes out. It's actually $200 a month, which is the price. But we're doing this half price thing for $99 forever. You get everything that ever comes out with Rocket Scooter for free and all additional data with the exception of futures. You'll have to pay your broker if you want futures data, which is very nominal anyways. So next step is we made it $99 for life so that you guys can grandfather in forever a very low price just to race to like our first 1,000 users of the platform. Early bird rate, and as long as you stay a member, you can keep that active. We're getting very close to that number, so we appreciate you guys and girls who've signed up. We love y'all to death, and thanks for supporting the drive of this company. Next step is that grandfather deal is about to go away. So if you want in, you got to get in by Sunday. If you aren't sure, click that link that says extended trial, and what that'll do is $35 a month. We'll give you 3 months of Rocket Scooter just to try it out. So that there's like, well, I don't want to rush. And I hate when people say, hurry now, offer expires. I think that's so shady, right? And so it's just a sales trick to get you to bite. So to compensate, because we're honest here, we're like, okay, well, take your time. Here's a 3-month extended trial. And that also is something we'll give out through Sunday to lock in the deal. So if you do the extended trial, so you're like, well, let me check it out first, see if I want to do it. Okay. So it's $35 a month for 3 months. It essentially covers your data, and it's $200 a month normally. So imagine $600 deal for all the subscription and the data feeds and all the cool stuff. Just $35, make it really cheap. Y'all can give it a shot. So the total is $100 for the 3 months and some change. So that we did. So everyone can just get a chance to come in. And plus, we're picking a brand new program. When our merger happens, you're going to have like 3 months of educational program. So literally at your own pace, you'll be able to go through so much stuff. And also for that extended trial discount, it allows us to like have some flexibility with y'all just as the first go at this new program that me and the merged group are going to create. So when I say the merger, I'm kind of leaving a lot of data out. The merger is between a lot of entities. It's not just one person, and that's the big secret. As we unlock things and unveil things over the next 2 weeks, you will see the largest network in retail trading on planet Earth unfold. How about those 2 red hot jobs reports and unemployment? Yeah, let's talk. Okay. So the merger is step 1. So check out the extended trial if you guys want to see what it is. You get Rocket Scooter platform, and then you can join our program, not this week, but the next. So 2 Mondays from now, we're going to kick off a brand new educational tree, and every day will be a new lesson. So you start from day 1. I invite everybody to come. We're going to go through our whole new educational plan that teaches everything Rocket Scooter and everything merger stuff, part A to part B, and I want everybody to come be a part of it, even existing members. We're going to train from scratch, and I want y'all to give me feedback on the new program. Huge effort building this, so we love having y'all here. All right, so about the data. Okay, remember, non-farms are a big deal. Catalyst is active. Do we all understand what that means? I'm going to draw a line to say where the catalyst is active. I'm going to just kind of estimate where it is. Catalyst is active. Markets are what? Everyone in chat, let's go type really quick. What does that mean? What word am I looking for you to say? Let's just test. This is an icebreaker. Here we go. Catalyst is active. Markets are irrational. Anything below this line, catalyst is active. Window of opportunity is closed. Or catalyst non-farm, right? So let me tell you what this means, right? Any trading, very small position. I'm talking very small. That's it. What is non-farm? Let's go over that really quick. We have 5 minutes till market opens, and we'll find some plays and see if we can't find anything coming through. And again, I'm just estimating where that catalyst will be. That is on the NASDAQ itself. 109 points below on the S&P. The ES, we're going to estimate really quick. Again, it's not an exact calculation, because I'm just kind of like gonna... Actually, I do have a box. Here we go. I didn't want to do this and being lazy. Anything outside of this box, ladies and gentlemen, is catalyst. The event has turned into a catalyst. The catalyst will speed up the market, and the market will move irrationally. So we're going to do this. Catalyst. Non-farm. If I get a nice bull long up, I might take it, but it's going to be a very small position. I don't want to interrupt the streak on any kind of gambling, do I? Now, everybody, do me a favor. Click that like button on the stream. Look at this. Trained traders in chat. They know what to do, and that's what I love to see. Oops. So we have DD bands irrational, catalyst irrational. Anything below here is window of opportunity. So just to remind myself, I'm gonna draw like this really, oh my God, this is such an ugly looking color. Ugh. Purple. Let's do something like a little less gross and not, I've used all my grays. Let's just use like a dark. Okay. Like a dark gray. Ugh. Okay. All right, talk about what the data is. We've got 3 minutes till we open. Thank you for supporting Rocket Scooter. Love you guys. Like I said, click that extended trial if you have any questions or you want to hang out with the community. Our Discord's about to round off its 4,000th member, which is cool. It's exciting to see the support here. I love seeing all of you folks who really put in the time to learn. When I say what word I'm looking for, everybody says irrational. People know irrational means don't trade or trade small. Really, the market's going to be choppy and weird. Don't put a lot on the table until the market gets rational again. Now, let's see. We talk about non-farm payrolls and just kind of go over what these things mean. And of course, yesterday we had some evidence that the market, we'll talk about yesterday's jobs data as well. This is the number of people employed during the previous month in general, excluding the farm industry, which the farm industry is handled differently because of farming subsidies, right? The government is having to subsidize farming, and so there's a whole different reason why they exclude this. But talking about this is the private sector jobs, if you want to think about it, unsubsidized private sector jobs. And job creation is the foremost indicator of basically consumer spending. More people working, more people have money, more people buy shit with the money they make. Very simple. If you want to learn fundamentals, don't go out there and read textbooks. Just hang out here. We're going to teach you actually cool fundamental relationships. It's easier to see. Look at these people getting their jobs back month over month. How cool is that? Well, we did say that was happening, right? We are experiencing an increase in JOLTS, which means job creation. We are experiencing also an increase in unemployment and continuing unemployment, right? There are more jobs out there and there are more people that can't get the jobs, which means that the jobs are being created in certain sectors that are strong, and there are people that are getting laid off in certain sectors that are weak. So we are actually creating jobs because we're filling jobs, and that's why the non-farm is going up. So imagine the stronger sectors, right? Let's pick something, healthcare. Why are the non-farms going up? Because we're creating jobs because we filled all the jobs in certain sectors, and we got to get more people in them. We got to create them as more people are getting filled. So essentially, the people getting hired are getting outpaced than the people that are getting fired. That's a really good number. The artificially high because of the holiday season, we talked about that. You won't see that here because it's February, but that is I love when people say that because you are correct. It's actually better to put that into your initial jobless claims, and you'll see the holiday metrics like right on point right there. You'll see that right after Black Friday, immediately the next week, there's a bunch of filings. And then right after Christmas, the next week, there's a bunch of filings. That's a great thing to say. Here's your 11/23. There's your Black Friday spike, right? These are people get laid off after Black Friday. And then here is your Christmas streak, people laid off after Christmas. That spike and that spike. So the unemployment seasonals take place. They only take a week. They fire everybody off literally the day after. It doesn't take a month. It takes them a month or two to get their jobs back, though. That becomes different. All right, let's look at this. Market is technically irrational on NASDAQ. Keep in mind. Let's put the NASDAQ side by side. Anytime you have an irrational market, right? We got to watch the things that are irrational. So let's go ahead and just make ourselves a little NASDAQ chart here. We'll keep an eyeball on the VIX too. Volatility is slightly high this morning. Let's just keep QQQ up in the top left corner. If you guys see Rocket Scooter platform, there is a free trial for you to check out if you want to do what I'm doing and take a look at the scanner and some of the other stuff. We invite you guys to have some fun with it. So put NASDAQ right here. And we're going to put QQQ down here. Irrational days, you'll see me trading very light. Again, I'm on a 7-day streak. There it is. This is day 7, actually. Haven't lost a trade yet, which again, tomato. Don't really like to put too much, don't like to put too much faith in streaks. Delete the liquidity map. But, you know, I am trading very cautiously, which is very important to my style. UVXY, let's keep in mind where we are below here. Hedge push break of 5 would be double irrational. Let's keep in mind here. S&P, let's go. Let's get the platform going. What do we got? BSD, the first thing you do, we're going to get out our liquidity maps, and we'll talk about the fundamentals later. All right, BSD is rejection against hedge pressure and downside. Ooh, I don't like this. So BLDs, I'll chase on the long, but do I want to short against hedge pressure? Not really sure. Oh, sorry, that's UVXY. Don't listen to me. Okay, that's different. BSU, let's go back. These are the 3 letters from the algorithm. The algorithm is telling me that we do have slightly upward pressure from monthly hedge pressure to hedge. There's a nice little scalp there. Where is monthly hedge pressure? Way down there. Doesn't necessarily apply as a trade setup. So let's take a look at this. What happens on hedge pressure break and the BSU turns to BLU? I always try to find every excuse to be along. So we knock out that callus. Okay. But there is resistance here, and hedge pressure breaks are slightly uncommon. I don't know if I want to take that trade unless resilience tells me that I like it. So let's see what resilience says today. Resiliences are negative. Oof, I don't like. Let's see, redistribution zone is here. So we do have all signs and signals, especially irrational, telling me that resilience is likely to be delayed. As soon as that DD number comes out, we'll see what the number actually is. 0.91 is really great. I'd like to see that. His calculation is still coming through. DD is positive. We did hit the lower band. Being very careful today. Not chasing much. I don't like these negative resilience, especially in NASDAQ. It's likely a downward setup from here, and I don't know if I want to maybe try to take a short off of this. Just off of the, again, resilience is negative, right? So I like to take every excuse to be along, but remember, resilience does delay in periods like this. And we also do have a Friday expiration. So let me see if I can get that half gap. We're at the edge of the catalyst for NASDAQ, so it does flip back. Markets are rational right now, but we did have that slight irrational touch, so NASDAQ might actually be delayed. So let's get a little tiny scalp right off the door. Just to go back to the catalyst support at the open. Let's see if I get it. I don't like that resilience is negative, which is good. Let me put the resilience on the chart itself. Let's get NASDAQ. Just a little boot. It's like a little gross today, right? NASDAQ is kind of like meh. I don't want to bet that we rally off a catalyst like this. Again, we're back into rational territory, so things do look kind of okay. Where's that ugly box right here? Okay, here. This is why I need to take this one right here. Settings. Would that be background? Can I do it like less opaque? Oh, perfect. Okay. So outside of this box, market's irrational. And at that BLU that we're pressing at, that's pretty normally a breakout setup to go to here. If I get a nice, strong, irrational, that big redistribution zone though, I'm going to take a small short off of hedge pressure and another off of half gap if it doesn't resist. This could be a losing trade, but I am being very cautious here. I do want to see UVXY go against this. NASDAQ is hitting its catalyst non-farm band right here. And so anything, I'm going to bet that the irrational market stays irrational. That's where I'm going with this small little trade. So anything outside of here, we'll call this the window of opportunity is closed. This is something we will teach if you guys want a cool lesson on window of opportunity. Anything outside this band is, be very careful with your trading. How am I doing? Okay, it's definitely green now, which is good. Let's keep this like front and center like so. And yeah, so I'm going to bet that we just have that nice little rejection, keeping it small. The jobs numbers, major need for healthcare, and broke Sabbath just confirmed. That's probably what it is, right? There's a lot of jobs being created in certain areas that are having a hard time being filled. So there's spot sectors where wage inflation is being controlled, which is good. We talked about that a couple streams ago. There's some sectors that are just really bad. My scalp is likely just back into here. I'm not going to bet that the market rejects or turns around and sells off. But irrational market right now, irrational setup, the resilience is not getting any better. The NASDAQ resilience is getting worse. So just like rejection in the zone is kind of one of those things. Let me make sure I've got RDZ turned on NASDAQ. Oops, make sure that's the case. So I did get in a little early. That's why I only put in a small position, but this is going to be a really tough trade. I kind of don't like it already. I wanted to bet the catalyst stays active and keeps the market a little shuffled here, but half gap is that real resistance. And if we do get a breakout, oh boy, that's going to be pretty bad. So let's do one more on the S&P. Now I don't like it. Remember, take 1 point off of my 413.50 is 1 point buffer. All this again, I'm only scalping back to maintain the irrational side of the market. I'm not really betting on a breakout today, but if it happens, it happens. We have a really close, let me close this off really quick. I don't be a little too eager here. Remember, betting the catalyst stays active. There's not that big non-farm increase is not, remember when jobs numbers go up, that's not, it's good for the economy in the longer term. In the shorter term, people believe that that's going to be more hawkishness for the Fed. Okay, let's put in a little bigger spot. Just making sure I only get it on these greens just about cost. Not going to bet that hedge pressure breaks. I'm going to bet that the 89% of the time we open below hedge pressure, it stays on the other side of hedge pressure. But we'll see if I'm right or wrong. You need to worry about the short squeeze, and this is the short squeeze right here. If I get 1 point off of hedge pressure, it's out, and then the resistance is there. So I'm not sure if I want to really tussle with that too hard. Nasdaq is breaking back out of the catalyst range of becoming rational, so that's good, at least for the long side. Okay, so I'm going to go into my heavy position and just see if I can't get something back out as we pull back. Now, again, this is not a BLU setup. Is if I do believe in a long, I will take a long. These resilience flipping positive again is giving me a little scary. So I might be in the middle of a squeeze. All signs are looking kind of nervous on this one. This actually might be the first loss of the challenge. I might have to get very lucky. That's why I'm having a cost average, and I'm going to kind of play with my cost basis a little bit to try to get out of this one. I do want to short and I do want to go long, but we'll see how this works. That was a pretty strong response on the catalyst. This is my stop right here. I'm going to just kind of mark where my stop will be. If you guys are new to the stream, click that like button really quick. With 160 people here, smash that like button. You want to see the streak continue, streak carry. We do this for entertainment. If you want to watch me sweat it further, feel free to support the stream, and we love y'all. While we're waiting, let's just take a quick analysis of these jobless claims last week. Jobless claims are down, which means fewer people are getting laid off. Also last week, continuing jobless claims, which is like people getting their jobs back. Where is this at? Continuing jobless claims. People getting their jobs back. Came in underneath the forecast of more people getting their jobs back and came in underneath. So there's fewer people getting their jobs back and there's fewer people getting laid off. And there's more jobs being created in the jolts, which that means is there's jobs for specific sectors that are strong and jobs for specific sectors that people are getting laid off and can't get back into anything. And these improving employment situations means there's some job markets are saturated. So the more people that are getting into jobs, the available jobs being created means some jobs are going to experience wage inflation, some jobs won't. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. This mixed data. So in general, it tells me that the overall data is flat. So some sectors, like they said, healthcare, they need workers pretty bad. Some sectors, workers are getting laid off. They don't need them anymore. Ooh, I'm getting squeezed. Okay, let's call it 413.50. I'm right on the edge of my stop. That red line's coming right up on the NASDAQ. Playbook has changed to BLU, right? So my stop is right here, 413.50. If this is a loss, it's a loss. But I'm going to take what I can get and close out some of this just right on the edge. Here I am betting that irrational market stays irrational. That's what happens with irrational markets. They reverse very rapidly. Okay. So I'm going to dig out of this one. I don't want to hedge with the long. When the market dips, I might switch to long, but I don't want to add more losses to losses. I really want to take one side of the trade and walk away. It's trying to tap that red line and get out of that particular setup. So red line's coming through. It's right here. And let me go horizontal ray. We're getting very close. It's going to be right here. That resilience being at 0 was really was really misleading. So with the irrational market, we're not misleading, but like it's at zero. So it's hard to make a rash, solid decision when you're not really getting a strong read. So being at zero, misleading is the wrong word. It's neutral. It's hard to gauge which direction. So it is more of a gamble. But when I look at it, resilience is always delayed whenever you are irrational anyway. Not always delayed. It's my tongue tied today. Resilience is always leading the market unless you have been irrational at some point. So when you go out of the irrational bands, for instance, or you go through irrational territory due to a catalyst, resilience is assumed to not lead anymore. So it's always a leading indicator when markets stay nice and tidy and rational. But when it's not, then resilience can lag the market. So taking a bet against it, you have to know with a grain of salt the state. So the state is that the market's nice and stable. This is actually telling me there's a potential for a squeeze. So I don't like what I see in the S&P, but I like what I see in the NASDAQ, right? So they're both looking a little sketch with the strong bull setup, right? We have switched to BLU. Let's look for some longs on the scanner really quick. And this is just another thing I'm going to do while I'm waiting for this. I'm going to probably trim a little bit. I'm not scared yet, but I am right on the edge of my stop. So let's be very careful here. Actually, let's look for some breakout stocks. If you guys haven't seen the scanner before, our scanner is awesome. Let's find stocks that have supported the hedge pressure break. I just say 5 selected. Super interesting. And so finding stocks that are right on the edge of the hedge pressure break, they're actually starting to create some movement. Boeing, eBay, we'll bring in some scans there. Okay, so we are right on the edge of a stop. I think I'm going to start closing. Market's off some bullish flow, yeah. So my gut feeling is just telling me this isn't that strong yet. I think I'm going to hang on to it. It's still right on the edge. And again, irrational markets do get to be very choppy. I might hold on just to luck out on this one. I'm not betting on a reversal, but I am right on the edge of the stop. I got to decide if I want to start trimming. Those high non-farm numbers are actually short-term perceived bearish. Wall Street believes that you're not going to get hawkish Fed if people are getting their jobs back. That's always the bet on these non-farms in the latest environment. You think if I had a hard stop here, I'm going to get squeezed as we touch that 4168 red line on the S&P. I think I do want to hang on to this. I think I'm right, you guys. I really do. I believe in it. There's just no strong momentum on resilience. I mean, I don't see it, right? Y'all don't see it either. Now, I did get a kind of feel. Make sure you get NASDAQ resilience is just so bad. So NASDAQ front and center is going to be controlling the day. So I need to make sure. So those of you that are looking for opportunities, we have different ways, like these hedge pressure breaks that create a squeeze, which I'm kind of caught in a squeeze right now. Debating if I want to continue adding to my position. I need that volatility to start moving. I don't know if I like it. Was my first entry was 41.46. Again, I get really close to my stop. I'm right on the edge of that. There are stocks that are breaking out, and this resilience going back to negative is what I do like to see. The fact that it's not long and strong is not really supporting the idea of a breakout, but this is what the scary part is. And the first thing I said on the stream was that I was pretty scared of what I saw because the redistribution zone is just so big. The squeeze potential of this just to fill that gap is really large. I can't believe that that's where it was, but I guess we did have large earnings yesterday, so that is going to explain a lot of what we saw. There's no way that's right. Is that really where the close is for SPY? Hold on. Let me refresh. Let me make sure I have everything right here. I'll check this really quick. Is that correct? I'm just making sure there's like no error on this. This is where we close at 15 o'clock. Or 1678. Okay. There's that RDZ squeeze. That's what I didn't want to see. Oops. Hold on. Where is my... Okay. All right. That is the final resistance now. Yeah. I still think I'm right. Resilience is still there. Or 1677. That adjustment was really big. Yeah, that is correct. That was what I was afraid of, was a bull zone redistribution zone that was so big, but resilience is so on the fence. So half gap is typically resistance. Do I want to take some risk? I know resilience isn't leading, and that's the thing. That's where I got squeezed on. But still, it is a reflection of the state of what things are. All right. It's not leading now. Whenever you go irrational, it's not leading, but it's not strong either. So it's not positive. So there's not a lot of strength to this shakeout squeeze because we're not getting a long and strong move in general. It does reflect the state of the market. It's just as a leading indicator. It's not showing a lot of strength. I know I'm right. So my entry is bad. All right. Apple is too strong. Let's take a look at Apple. I do know that I'm right. Okay, red line is clean. That's good. We've cleared the red lines on both of these. The anchor point. I know that I'm right. Okay, I'm going to double down because I know that I'm right. But I'm going to close out really good. I didn't want to play this too far, but let's see this. Half gap resistance. Apple is moving way beyond the RDZ. And then we're going to close out if I don't get it. Right here. Amazon's looking good. We've created a second. Let me show you the second level here on the SPY. A second IRL, so that's going to be where I mark. That squeeze is just too powerful. There is no strength in the index. That's the thing. Just a couple of stocks moving. That's it. So we have a new anchor point. Let me go ahead and mark that really quick. I'm doing it really fast on the S&P. I need to get right up against this. This is my exit spot. This is where I'm going to crawl out of this one. It is, I don't really believe in it. So as much as I did this morning, but we need to make sure we monitor where that exit point is. I'm going to calculate it really quick. Ooh, you guys get to actually see me dig out of a loss. I love it. We have a new anchor point here. This is a second IRL. Let me go ahead and mark it. Okay. We're going to play some scalp game here. Finally, some L's are going to show up on the board. I like it. You want to watch me dig this into a win for the day? Let's go. Okay, so let me... Oh, I need to mark it on the right chart. This is how I do this, so y'all can actually watch this. Okay, that's just so I can get it on my other chart. Got a 25 tick chart up so I can watch it tick by tick just to zoom in. Very strong, very strong. Resilience is now negative. That's what I want to see. Like the stocks are just not buying into this S&P squeeze. This is S&P getting squeezed into earnings. I mean, into expiration. This is not the stock market rallying. The evidence is there. The bull side is going to support, yes. So let's draw the trade plan really quick from the start, right? We were BSU and we're in a BLU squeeze. Markets are rational anytime to the upside. So the window of opportunity, let's just make sure that we don't get over eager here. is here. We have hedge pressure break to the upside, hedge pressure break to the downside. There's the window of opportunity. Look at this. I know I was right. I knew I was fucking right. Okay, let's start trimming just a little bit. Trimming on red. I knew I was right. Resilience never lies. Even when it's delayed, it never lies. It really never lies. Just trim a little bit. Resilience never is wrong. It's never wrong. Until it's wrong, I guess. No, but seriously though, like, fuck it. I knew I was right. I'm still down 300 for the day, but let's keep going. Make sure you guys click that like button if you don't mind, por favor. We did hit that lower impact red line. That's the thing you saw me do a second ago. That's why I'm trimming here. That was my target to play this scalp. Let me trim down appropriately in just a little bit. Let's go positive, baby. Let's go. So I did realize 182 negative on those 3 contracts I closed. Again, let's play the scalp game. Look at the resilience. Very, very, very bad. Very, very, very gross. Let's turn this loss into a win. Again, I did have a 413.5 stop loss. Now, normally a 1 strike, you guys know how the rules are here, right? 1 strike distance is my stop loss. And when I got here, I started going into panic mode. And the first thing I said, I might get a squeeze candle to go up to half gap. Resilience means half gap is resistance. And as resilience was never getting long and strong, you can rewind the stream. This is great. I love you guys seeing my mental thought process when I am losing. How do I handle it? The first thing I did was get quiet and start thinking, right? Didn't overreact, didn't panic, didn't rush to click out. I started thinking. As a matter of fact, when it went against me, I doubled even a little heavier than I normally would go. I went, my normal position size right now is 11 for max position. And I put in a little bit more at half gap just to stretch a little bit more. I was ready to stop. When it hit here and started playing, I held my breath with resilience to get any strength. I knew half gap was not going to be resistance. Now, in an irrational day, which you're watching me trade, is something we do not teach you to trade. Let's close out one more and trim to 10. And we'll keep it at that and see what we can go from here. Okay. Irrational day, and let's do some things here really quick. Why is my epic pen frozen? Okay, where's my? Okay, so again, we're not in the clear yet. Where's my pen? What the heck? When you have cats, things start to disappear. Hey. Oh, here it is. Okay. Actually, did I close at 59? Okay, we close at 62. We're still not getting that oomph on resilience. Now, resilience does delay a little bit. Y'all want to play the NQ game? At half gap? NQ just does not look strong at half gap. I do want to add some NQ. Why is the DOM not centering on that resistance? Again, I'm scalping the NQ range. I'm going to hang on to that SPY, but let's go ahead and play some Qs right here because I don't believe in this redistribution zone on Qs. Same thing with that resilience, just crazy and strong. I don't see us holding that half gap. Now, we are getting some squeeze on the index itself before the stocks are moving. And resilience is always not going to lead the market when you are in an irrational setup. So we are irrational, right? Just keeping in mind. So I have to take it with a grain of salt, but resilience just being so negative, there's no reason for this to rally. Like zero reason for this to rally. So my NQ is taken off for a nice little scalp. Kind of digging into that loss. Like I said, where do I want to trade back to? I think to the catalyst obviously is a pivot and the bull zone is a pivot. So we're going to talk about that today, right? We have a nice long and strong. Ooh, I love, this is actually kind of exciting. I love getting into some actual scalps. So the rules here are this, right? When irrational, it's hard to create leading indications but DD is greater than half. So we have support like here. Actually, let me just draw right here. I'm just going to sell DD greater than half, right? There's support inside of here. So there is that scalp potential. Res, while delayed, is in here. We're overshot and what I like to call overbought because the stocks are not representing what the index is doing. So a squeeze is a squeeze purely on the index, or the index is moving before the stocks are moving. And now we're about to hit this upper DD band. I might take a second scalp on this. Make sure we don't have any catalysts coming up today. I'm going to look for the event on the calendar. Nothing else coming through. Okay, let's go to, I know that I'm right. Trust me, I have a feeling. Any earnings after market today? Okay, so let's talk about yesterday's earnings really quick. Trust me, I know that I'm right. It's not a gamble, right? It's the stats still tell me that there's no reason for this to rally really hard. Oops. I know that I'm right. We're going to dig it. We're going to turn it green. I'm not gambling. You guys know I'm still systematic. I'm not freaking out because it is irrational, and irrational markets tend to get choppy and weird. I'm going to try to add one more on that bump. Now, again, remember, whenever you're rational, you're going to overshoot pivots too. So my one strike stop rule, I did bend a little bit just to go to half gap. So that is, there's a reason for that because irrational markets, again, make choppy overshooting pivots. That is part of our teaching that we have here. And one of the things is people say, okay, so what was the signal today, Matt? Everybody tell me really quick. Let's see how much you guys learned in Rocket Scooter. What was the actual signal today on SPY? Not just a liquidity map. What you woke up and you saw SPY and you go, this is what I'm doing today. What does our training tell you to do, right? Everybody all at the same time, sit the fuck out, right? You know it's going to be choppy and weird and crazy, sit the fuck out. But what I like to do and what I've been advised to do is even on the stream, Matt, don't try to trade. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So don't, I would go on these spaces in the morning and be like, well, it's kind of a boring day. I'm going to sit out. And then like Nicole was like, Matt, stop saying it's boring. People don't give a shit if it's boring. They want to see you lose money if it's bad. So go in there and trade, even if it's a sit out rule. Not that you're going to like go, all in. Let me close that NASDAQ, scalp out. That's a good win. The idea is that still, show what you would do even if you were caught in like in a mode like that where it's not good. These black boxes are where you're not supposed to trade. So the window of opportunity is 100% closed right now. There is no reason to do anything. So you have to adopt and know that you're in a really weird spot. And that's the whole point. Like you have to know which environment that you're in and know what you're supposed to do. So if I'm trying to short against hedge pressure and then it squeezes against me, my literal stop is one strike above. So this is where I'm closing out my scalps and not hoping for a lot more. And this is I'm gonna talk some advanced scalping. So normally where my previous stop is on a short is where I'm also gonna exit some of the trade if my short comes back and gives me some gains on top of me losing. Fuck guys, look at that. We're almost green for the day. Let's go. Ooh. Ooh. What? Let's see what we got here. Let me just trim a little bit of that. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to go ahead and take some of that. Let me get financial juice coming up. I don't know. Was there something announced in the news? It was the ISM just came out. Oh, that's right. ISM. I'm so stupid. That's what I did want to look at. I should have closed all of that. This is, again, me talking too much. I'm looking at the wrong calendar. ISM non-manufacturing PMI came out just a second ago. Let's go ahead and look at the non-manufacturing sector. Let me get back to that NASDAQ. I do like what I see on that NASDAQ, though. Irrational days are irrational. 12,724. Let's see if resilience is budged at all. No, resilience is getting worse. Let's stay the course. I like when it gets exciting so I can demonstrate principles while I'm trading. All right, we're green for the day, y'all. Wow. Okay, let's go. Keep going, baby. Let's go. Hit that like button. Let's go. Click it, click it, click it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Come on, baby, go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Again, irrational days, you have to know what you're in for. Let's analyze the numbers, right? The ISM, non-manufacturing sector, is a composite based on the diffusion index of the foreign blah, 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 blah. Non-manufacturing sector is generally expanding if it's above 50. If it's below 50, that the non-manufacturing sector is... Let's pocket that NASDAQ as well. I'm putting another 250 in my pocket there. I'm just scalping NASDAQ on every bump. Back to watching my S&P trade that's breaking my heart today. Papa likes his SPY. Again, we don't bet that hedge pressure breaks all the time, but man, on those greens, I kind of want to add back to my SPY. And baby, ladies and gentlemen, we're green for the day and the streak continues. I knew I was right. Resilience is never wrong. It's never wrong. It's never wrong. It's never wrong. It's never fucking wrong. Ever. I'm done. We're green. Let's motherfucking go. It's just sometimes delayed. It's just never wrong. Never wrong, never wrong, never wrong. It's just delayed. It is arbitrage between the net weighted sum rate of implied hedging of the stocks inside the redistribution zone to the index that's tracking them. The index is tracking them, which means it's never wrong. The index is equal to the sum of the stocks. So the index will not equal the sum of the stocks ever, unless it slightly deviates, but it will always be traded towards each other. Now, the one thing that is the variable, don't let me mislead you, is the age-old question of stocks index. The index is just a math equation. We have an index product, which is like SPY and the S&P futures. The product can trade up and down. The stocks can trade up and down. The product can trade faster than the stocks. The product can trade slower than the stocks. It is an expiration day. And on expiration day, you tend to get a little bit of mechanics where people maybe get squeezed out of the SPY or QQQ first. Or that people can get squeezed out of the stocks first. When markets are rational, which means we never touch one of these black bands, rational market. We have this awesome class. If you want to learn what I just did today to dig out of an irrational market, I'm glad we had some excitement. I really am, because I'm glad I can start showing what I do in a moment of crappy uncertainty, how I behave, how I know, how I'm not going to get blown up, how I knew what I wanted to do. And when I got the trade I wanted, I closed everything out. Whew, right? I knew my range was here, even though we're irrational. As we told everybody today, you don't trade when irrational, you trade small. Instead of stopping fully, I doubled down again here. And I knew we had a news event coming up. And when the news event came out, I started taking profit, taking profit, taking profit. And then I closed out. Now, again, systematic, since I know where my pivots are, I'm not going to try to gamble further. I'm just going to say I tried to short. It didn't work. I played with it a little bit. I turned it into a win. And now I'm kind of excited that I didn't lose anything. And we're going to call it a day. Now I'm directly in irrational territory and the window of opportunity is closed. It would be downright stupid for me to try to do anything further. Let's get some rockets in chat, boys and girls. That was fun. Y'all haven't, it gets kind of boring when you see somebody, you know, on a streak where it just seems like they get it right, and you might be like, okay, this guy, what's up? He hasn't lost yet. Now you get to see me in a losing trade, and now you get to see what you can do. Yeah, I didn't panic. I didn't lose my cool. I didn't go crazy. I didn't sit here with my head up my ass not knowing what I was going to do next. What I did was I went straight to everything that I knew to try to understand the power of what I was getting squeezed. Resilience was telling me otherwise. Nice little squeeze on the S&P. Resilience flat and hugging zero. The stocks aren't moving, and the index was. The index is just getting squeezed into expiration. Very common, but the thing is you can't predict which one moves first. On my screen, resilience is never wrong, but the thing with resilience is you don't know if the stocks are moving first, the index are moving first. Now, statistically, what we've proven is that when markets are rational, Stocks move first. People don't just go risk on the index. Stocks move first before the index. You want to know the stats on that? 97% of days. That's why people go, resilience is never wrong. Well, resilience is never wrong because it tracks which deviation between the stocks and the index. Now, about 97% of the time, stocks will move before the index when markets are rational. That's fucking amazing. So resilience, because of that, is a leading indicator. 97% of rational days. Now, clearly, we are irrational as fuck, right? So right out the door, the rule is when irrational, you don't trust resilience to lead the index, but you still trust it to show arbitrage opportunity. Resilience being negative means that either the index has moved faster than the stocks, or the index has moved and the stocks have moved down, and it's the difference, right? Which one moves first? Again, rational markets, the stocks will move first. Irrational, you want to know the stat on that? It's completely indeterminable. You don't know, because irrational markets are irrational. People are getting squeezed. And so theoretically, if people are getting squeezed, they're going to squeeze out on something, and it's hard to tell what they want to drop first. Traditionally, if you're getting squeezed on all your stuff, like in a high correlatable environment like this one, people are going to get squeezed out of the index products first, which means a lot of the times when irrational, you will see the index move before the stocks. And the stocks are going nowhere, and the index is getting squeezed on an expiration day. That sounds pretty logical, right? Like if the market's getting squeezed, people are just rushing in to hedge all their bets, right? You're short the index. People are going to go in there and start getting squeezed on that index. They're not necessarily going to go buy the stocks to compensate. They're just going to hedge the index, right? It's one product. So because the stocks aren't getting a lot of momentum, I know that half gap is still going to be resistance, right? The S&P is not going to rally unless it's getting double squeezed. Now, again, you can't predict if the SPY is getting squeezed or not. That would be alarming, right? So as like this happened, I kind of peed my pants a little bit. And I'm like, okay. But I said, I know I'm right. The stocks aren't moving. So people aren't getting squeezed across the board in all things. People aren't necessarily seeing the index being squeezed and go, oh crap, let me get out of all my shorts and my stocks, right? Wall Street, the index tracks the stocks. This is your real evidence of what's going on. Real investors, not just the large institutions playing the index, real investments into the stocks today didn't budge. People weren't trading that stuff. Didn't move. In general, you might have some Apples and Amazons moving, but you're in general, does everybody see this? I want everybody in chat to just kind of write that down real quick. Do y'all see this? The index really wasn't doing much. So I don't trust the SPY is going to have to really make a decision. And right now on these highs, people are starting to dump the stocks, etc. You can see the storybook that's being told. The index itself is getting squeezed high on hedge, right? Hedge pressure. You can exactly see hedge pressure on that break. The index products are getting squeezed and it's an expiration day. However, the index stocks are worse. When we say resilience is never wrong, as resilience just got worse, it actually means that when the index got squeezed, people are selling the stock while the index is going up. Isn't that crazy? So you can tell the storybook, right? The stocks were flat. The index got a little bit of hedge pressure squeeze, but the stocks didn't care. They weren't moving. And I go, aha, okay. I know I'm probably upside down. Let me add to the position. Let me scalp through here. Remember, my NASDAQ is what brought me ahead. I took a scalp, close, scalp, close, scalp, close, and kind of took a little loss on my S&P. So in this mode, the way resilience works is that if resilience is negative, half gap is resistance. This is what you learn on your first day at Rocket Scooter. Now, irrational markets you have to take with a grain of salt because you don't know the power of how much people are getting squeezed or not. But I'm still deciding, as resilience is getting worse and we're getting some greens here, I don't like to bet on hedge pressure breaks, right? But we did open below, and it does behoove me to say we should close below as well. And I think I want to put the NASDAQ first, and let's do a little over trading today. Not over trading specifically, but Nasdaq is just getting worse on resilience, and we're still seeing a half gap. Why am I not taking this opportunity? Let's just play a little bit more. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Again, resilience is getting worse on Nasdaq, which means in this Friday, the stocks are selling off really fast. I'm going to trust that resilience is looking pretty okay. Let's make sure we mark the redistribution zone here on this Nasdaq. The same way we did for... I did. Hold on. I thought it would show up here. Why are you not showing up? Res is getting worse. Ooh, now I just went negative. Hold on. The stocks aren't budging. There's a pretty hefty squeeze on the index. Let's keep y'all entertained. Okay, now the stocks are starting to move. That's what I don't want to see. So let's keep playing. Should be a little over trading, as I said before I pushed the button, but I do want to keep trying for this because I do think that this is that one test we're going to get. Let's not see the S&P go positive now. Let's keep that resilience resisting zero. Resilience breaks zero, then the stocks are going to squeeze for the day. Remembering the real investments aren't budging. Let me clean all this up. How come when I mark up my chart for NASDAQ, it's not marking up my chart over here? I wonder if I thought it's going to save across the board. But here's the catalyst. So down here, it's irrational. Come on, baby. Save my settings. Yeah. You're getting some stocks getting covered here. But ooh, oh boy. Resilience always shows the state of the stocks versus the index. Now, you just don't know which one's moving first. That is always the big question. Now, VIX is collapsing, so this is probably going to cause me to lose the day. But that upper DD band is coming right up, so be very careful here. This is just off the cup scalping. I do want to scalp RDZ for that bigger drop in Qs for the rest of the day. Now again, Q is just because it's the one that's moving the fastest. And again, I do want to take the risk because I have been kind of taking small baby trades, but I do believe that, you know, when you open below hedge pressure, it's very rare to not close below there as long as market's rational without a catalyst. And again, we're reacting pretty violently with the catalyst. This is just a fun off the cuff scalp day. I do want to turn today into a bigger win though. I actually definitely want to take that risk. Pretty far ahead in the small account challenge. And I just feel like I do want to play. Nice choppy volatile range. Again, I'm going to get scared if the S&P resilience goes positive. So I'm going to zoom right into this guy right here. The stocks themselves are now wave 2. So now the stocks are getting squeezed into into expiration. Pardon me. So that is the big question is, will the stocks get squeezed to turn the momentum positive? The momentum's still like, okay, the index moved up enough. Now the stocks are readjusting their price to catch up. But is it enough to cause this to become the move? And that is the question. Yeah. We know that. The upper move, let's go. Let's take this. Okay, good. Upper DD band, that would be so rare for that to break and keep going. This is a bigger, let me actually mark this on QQQ. This would be extremely rare to break rational to the upside. This is another pivot. Let's trade the pivot. Okay, so we're at upper DD band pivot. Again, let's get the Thinkorswim front and center. Again, I'm just having some fun today, showing you guys some of these tools here. Again, the pivots. Let's see if I can, again, the market's moving up and I'm still shorting. The upper DD pivot is right here. I hate covering the screen up, but I'm in a hurry, so pardon me on that. Daily chart. Why is my band not there? Okay, this is not good. Let's just do it here. Quick. That is unusual. So this is where irrational markets tend to get weird. Okay, let me make this really big. And let's go ahead and mark where that resistance is. Ooh, I'm getting squeezed. Okay. Love scalping though. So let's see if I can turn this into a win too. Should have quit while I was ahead, right? That's not good. We're rational to the upside now. What a weird, fun day. Okay, let's see if we can't do something with this. And let's not take a loss today. If we do, we do though. Ooh, this is gross. Okay. All right, so let's mark these highs. Let's just make sure we have it marked. Oops, and I'm gonna get these equivalently marked over here on the S&P. Ooh, that's big. That's fast. Okay, let's do it again. Let's get out. That just went way too fast, and res is still negative, right? That is so bad, and that can go all the way to there. Oh, man. How quick that was. Okay. All right, so let's mark the DD. Boy, oh boy, we're having a fun scalp day today. This is great. We're going to walk away with a little bit of an L, I think. Okay. All right, let's hang in there. It's Apple, Tesla squeeze. Yeah, we are. But again, the resilience going positive now, not the best sign in the world. My DD band pivot is here. I'm going to get out right there on that green pivot when it taps. Oh, that was so scary. So let's mark this. Let me pull this. I can't wait till we get our futures data here. It'll be easier to see. My downward target now goes to 749, which is down here. Irrational downside to irrational upside is extreme, is like the rarest of the rare. You don't normally see this, but it is expiration day. So again, wow, like very crazy pivoting. Like I say, irrational days just love to, ooh, a little velocity logic there, a little dump. Okay. Boy, oh boy. All right, let's trim just a teeny little bit. Actually, no, fuck it. Let's hang on. What a weird, actually, no, let me get some red really quick. Oof, that was not so hot, right? We're going to get back into that irrational band. Let's just keep it. Fun days. Res is still negative on NASDAQ. Fuck it. Let's hang on. Resilience is delayed, right? When markets are irrational, so you have to be very careful. This is what I'm looking at, is this green band right here. I close out at 777. It can go all the way up to here, though. That's the problem. That's what I'm really worried about. The upper RDZ is the redistribution zone of the gap. It's such a wide gap and such a wide range. I kind of do love trading off the cuff like this a little bit. Now, again, our rules are you don't do anything, right, when you're in this mode. So when you do something, you have to know what you're in for, of course. Let's go again. Let's keep it exciting. Y'all, click that like button as you're still here in the stream. We like to have fun with y'all while we're on the stream here. I'm just going to average in through here. So the trading between here was going to be very, very rapid. Let me see what the S&P is doing. That VIX is also collapsing. So DD being positive, the ratio, this can go all the way to there, which is what I don't like. I always try to find every excuse to be a bull as well. And here I am taking the short side in a choppy bullish-ish market. Boy, that NASDAQ is just moving quick, huh? But again, oh man, it's just like super fun to see this. close out at 73, 77. Let's go. Let's get another green candle up. I'm going to add 2 more contracts to this. Like I said, this is really always going to be a leading indicator when you are rational, but anytime you go outside of what's called the window of opportunity, irrational markets tend to make everyone behave weirdly. And on expiration days, as you see, the index is being squeezed first before the actual stock market. It's just going to show the state of things. Now, the state of things that the stock market is now finding balance with the value of the index. The index has moved first. The stocks have started to catch up. So I'm keeping my thinkorswim front and center here so we can just kind of see where those bands are. I kind of want to zoom in because I'm actually got money on the table, and just keep an eyeball out on where these resistances are. So the red line on this last little burp up is going to be my downward target if we do hit a level and turn around. But boy, oh boy, there's some upward potential there, I'm going to tell you. NASDAQ nice and flat, I don't like, and the S&P has the potential also to have that next particular move. Russell itself, I think, is outside of its, let me look. Oh, I love these like off the cup scalping. So what is my rationale here for a lot of stuff? Now I'm just kind of frantically looking for pivots to play against. I've got nothing too short against inside of here, so I'm really nervous not having a second pivot to back against. My second pivot would be like the S&P goes here and I'm digging out of an even bigger loss. I don't like that idea. I'm still betting again that NASDAQ is way overbought against the sum of the stocks, but the stocks again can get that second burst, as the S&P typically always carries the market. That is the scary part. So I'm not going to add too soon. It is likely consolidating for the next push up, which I am a little worried about. And do I want to take how far is it away? 14 points on the S&P. And it's a little hard to digest. Scalp day Friday. This is fun. Ooh, this is all just 1 hour into the market too, man. Time flies by so slow when you're having so slow when you're having a serious moment. Time goes by so fast when you're having fun. And there's also a yellow line at 847. That's kind of far away. So remember, the rule at Rocket Scooter is all you guys should be safely sitting on the sidelines and just having fun watching me dig out. Right? Nobody should be trading in these environments, and we say in irrational markets. The rule is just to sit out. But obviously nobody wants to watch somebody just snooze fest on the stream. So I am trying to execute some kind of scalps in some of the ranges we do have. Redistribution zone is up here at the top of the Qs, with this being negative and turning down while it's squeezing up. It's a great time for me to give it a shot. Again, to play that scalp range in RDZ. So it's looking, so Qs are looking to fill their gap, basically. Okay. Upper band here. I'm just going to take 10 points of scalp, and I'm going to build a position from here to close down inside of the band. It'd be so weird to go rational, irrational one side, rational one side. This reversal is very strong going into expiration. Again, the NASDAQ stocks aren't moving while the index is getting squeezed round two. It's just a couple of stocks that are moving. But man, I got move all the way up to there. That's what's got me scared. But if I end up being right, this is going to be a huge win for the day, which I hope that will be fun. If not, then not. It's just kind of great. But yeah, so when you're outside, like again, when you're outside of here, you know, super small position, not really big, but I'm just trying to trading my full position here instead of just a couple scalps. I am getting signals again, like earlier, that the NASDAQ stocks, and if I start getting NQ stocks going positive, then I'm just going to cry myself to sleep and go back to bed. My pivots today are going to be, and I'm using thinkorswim so I can get really deep on these futures charts. I really want to monitor this very close. There's another impact red line forming there. So these particular scalps are like when you're doing futures scalping. Scalping is fun, where you're doing like one thing. You're basically finding every pivot that you have and scalping between them, knowing your risk and reward. You know, my risk is really bad on the NASDAQ side because the S&P that's carrying the market today could go all the way up to there, and I don't like what I see. So I'm monitoring when I get in. I got in at 16 on my last entry. I'm watching 18 and 16 were my last two entries. And again, I'm still getting squeezed on those. You kind of want to just, I'm playing the ranges, and this is a little fun, but there are no rocket scooter principles that train to do what I'm doing right now. This is just the greater trend is that the upper redistribution zone and everything is outside of what we call rational territory. So when this window of opportunity is closed, you're just not supposed to do anything because the market's going to get crazy like this. And I do know my limits, which is why I'm allowing myself to have this day here to do this. And y'all can actually watch and learn a little bit. Right? Behaviorally, you're going to see me, you know, I'm not like cutting the stream or accidentally disappearing when shit's going against me, right? You see that happen a lot. Y'all can watch me sweat it out, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But right out the door, you can say that, you know, I know what I'm in for, and, you know, admittingly so, I tell you that this is irrational. Everyone, what you do, everybody says, oh, we sit out for the day. And that's particularly why. So now I'm just going to try to have fun scalping and just kind of turn into a fun day. And now I learned my lesson, right? Don't get a little over eager on a streak. Your risk and reward is so weird. You win 500 if you're willing to lose 1,800. No, my risk and reward is irrational territory. You are not trading. It's a sit out rule day. My risk and reward today is from here back to there. It's really good. This is trade debate on the side. My risk to reward is that resilience is negative, and I'm looking to be below here for the rest of the day. I'm about 2 points away from here to here. My positioning is just not so great. Well, clearly I'm in the middle of streaming and fumbling in a loss, trying to build a bigger position. But yeah. But my risk and reward is when resilience is negative, the stock market is not doing what the futures market is, or the equities market index is doing. So my risk and reward is always looking for next pivot. Let me draw it for you. My next pivot is half gap. It's a bigger trade. Right now, I'm trying to create a position to where we are here. So as the market's moving like that, I'm just getting in, getting out, getting in, getting out to just change my cost basis and maintain my maximum contract size. So like I met this resistance that I was looking for earlier. Tradeovate is a discount futures broker. They're awesome. I love them. So my trade on liquidity maps, remember, anytime you're irrational, you don't use liquidity maps anymore. Do we all understand? So I'll teach you lesson number one. Does everybody understand? When markets are irrational, you are trained to sit out. So you sit out here. You sit out because you'll experience what I'm experiencing. So what am I trying to do is trade a bigger position, or a bigger principle, is that when irrational, res may or may not lead index. I know that I'm right fundamentally. Okay. Number two, the probability of going negative, right? DD band, like below DD band. Oh, there's my exit. Hold on. Let me get my, ugh. Okay, so that's my first exit. Gonna trim some of that. Okay. To above DD band is just weird. Okay. On any green that I get, I'm going to add back to the position. I'm just watching a tick chart so I can add to it. The probability of going below DD to above DD is so low it doesn't make any sense. Right? This is something I've actually never personally experienced since we started having DD. Believe it or not, I've actually never traded something like that since DD's been out. And it's been out for a while. Ah, that's the pop I wanted. Damn it. Okay, that's all right. Do you all understand? So this is the rarest of the rare. That's the power of a short squeeze. Okay. My risk and reward, while you see me going up like really upside down to go really right side up, or to go slightly upside, my trade is not actually willing to lose that much to make a little, willing to lose that much to make a little. My trade is from here to there. Let's talk about my R&R really quick. Okay, there's the pop I want. Let's add a few more on the greens. Go on, give me some greens. Okay, so the risk and reward is actually this. Oops. So far, it's what we're experiencing right now is just a very rare circumstance. This is a squeeze that is very irrational and unpredictable, right? My trade is that because that is happening, if this happens, I'm screwed. Okay. The fact that it's not above zero, I'm feeling okay. Okay. The index is getting squeezed a little harder than I anticipated into expiration, but the stocks again aren't budging as much as, okay. So what I'm experiencing right now is the bigger risk and reward. All you're seeing me doing is building into a position, whereas it could even go there for it to work out. So when resilience is not positive, we want to be on this side of this. My target zone is there. So let's delete everything. This is what you guys are trained on. You sit out here. So you're not doing anything from the start. The greater swing is a really, really big trade. This is a great trade-off. Inside of what we call type 1 resilience. So number 1 is resilience. Great. I got what I wanted. That's fucking awesome. Okay. Type 1 resilience is inside of the redistribution zone, which is here. So we closed here. We opened here, okay? What type 1 says is that if resilience is negative, this is preferential to balance. If the index or the stocks are trading a certain way, the index needs to lower to meet the sum of the stocks. Now, however, you have a problem, right? The problem is this. When you are irrational, which is these black boxes, when irrational, the index may lead the stocks, which is the scary part. So this is how you trade this, right? First of all, you sit out sometimes, and you can't know which times that is because it's based on the risk of the traders getting in or out of the thing. So if the index is leading the stocks, then I am in a short, but I don't want to see the stocks resilience go positive. Like the index right now is getting squeezed before the stocks themselves are catching up. So if the stocks catch up and go positive, then I'm really scared. That would be the problem. The breadth is negative, yeah. So if, as long as this is negative and the index is being squeezed, as long as it doesn't go positive, then I'm aiming for me to be down inside of here. That's what I want to see. I know it sucks. Yeah. It is pressing on that upper DD, but the S&P does have the ability to squeeze up as well. I just don't like what I see. So as long as if this pops up, then I'm just going to feel pretty bad for the day. If this stays where it is and the index is just getting squeezed again and the stocks aren't budging, I'm aiming for here. So the R&R is actually really awesome. I'm talking like $2.50 for just a little bit more upside down. I am in a little heavy from right here though. When I was, my last was 783. Okay, it's still going to push a little higher, I think. So my new trade, let's pretend I'm in a new trade, is from the upper close, like as it fills its gap, down to there. So it's rare to go from this side to that side of those bands. That is a very powerful squeeze. So I got trapped trying to trade a second time because the upper DD band is a very strong high volume pivot. So let's start to analyze that. So I'm going to put in a couple more. I'm going to scout from here to here. In just a second, but yeah, If I win this, I'll be very lucky. But man, this can go really, really, really far against me. If I keep going in. So this is probably the upper limit that I'm looking for. And I want this to stay negative because this could return to here over the next hour or two. As soon as this hits here, this is the trade I did yesterday. I'm back in. I'm going to probably add to it. So I'm not going to get in too early. Man, this is a little crazy. It's probably going to fill the upper gap on SPY. I think so as well. Oof. Yep. Okay, so we have another area. So these are not rocket scooter rules. These are not, our rules were to sit out from the start. These are just trading inside of these ranges for the bigger trade. That's what's possible. One more burp. Top of bull zone. I mean, top of the redistribution zone. This is what I didn't want to see. Now the stocks are getting squeezed. This is the exhaustion point if there is one. If not, then I'm just dead for the day. The bigger trade goes to here, and it is a bigger win if I end up being right. But this is the scary part. Now the stocks have finally caught up, and this is where the market's going to get crazy and volatile. If this is a real squeeze of all the things, then the stocks are going to move. Okay. Do I have that yellow line short, which is the area of NASDAQ that is going to be of interest? Or do I just keep what I have? Do I add to it or do I keep what I have? Okay. Let's see if we get anything. There's the final move where the stocks get their chance to prove what they want to do. Like I said, this is a very underwhelming response in the stock market. For the squeeze that we are experiencing. This is the trade. The bigger one. This is the one I should have waited for, to be honest. The yellow line resists. Now, again, I'm just looking for, these are just scalping pivots. So I'm looking for places to add in and get in and out. This is just the red lines trick. So I'm going to build a cost basis against these on these red lines. All right. And I kind of getting hungry. Okay. Now let's get the trade I wanted. Fuck me, dude. I think I love getting caught in squeezes, but that's why you don't trade irrational, right? You can learn from something today. Don't trade irrational. So right now, again, I'm playing, I'm watching where I get in 38 to 26. I'm just taking little scalps to kind of build a cost basis against that yellow line resist. I don't want to see resilience being positive though. If the stock's getting squeezed pretty hard today, it's not going to be a good setup. So I want to see this just be like an overshoot of the index being squeezed in expiration. But again, I want to be back below half cap. I do. So that particular setup would be a really large, let me, I know how I do this on the DOM. Hold on one second. I don't normally remove this from the screen, but I got to go into like the account stuff to change what's on the DOM. Just give me 1 second. I wanted to show my P&L and ticks. Oh, estimated P&L. Okay. Let me put that on the screen. Okay, that's what I want to see. I forgot in trade debate, you have to do that per contract. Okay. So I want to see like where my break evens are on my entry points. Oh wait, I need to show my entries and exits as well. Hold on. I always get a little paranoid. Does it show your entries and exits on the chart? I thought it did. On the DOM. It's been a while since I've played with this. How do y'all do that? I thought it shows your entries and exits on trade debate. I haven't used the desktop. Play with the desktop a little bit. That's bad. Fucking A. This is it. We're gonna hit that upper band. Oops. On the S&P. There's the yellow line resist. That's the level I wanted to see. Ooh, and that's where I want to get. So these are all my scalping ranges here. And I'm going to make sure I do this. This is my last resort. There's that resistance on the S&P. Now the stocks have caught up. Now it's just like, eh. Setup is good. The market just was doing irrationally random things. There was no setup today. Yeah, 100K in 3 months. Yeah, it will happen for sure. I know that I'm right. I know that I'm not wrong on this trade. I just had to take a bigger draw than I thought. My positioning was a little heavier than I should have put in, but I know I'm right. I'm not sweating it. 100% know that I'm right. I know that I'm right. I know that the stats are going to look a little weird. We will take some L's today, but I do know that I'm right. What I should have done differently was wait instead of taking that. I should have waited instead of trying to take that trade up here. I got in way too early to bet on the resilience resisting. Like I should have, like, the squeeze is really powerful, and in irrational mode you have no gauge of how strong a squeeze is going to be. My bet, like, the real proper entry is actually shorting against something to do something, and this upper bull zone, like, this upper redistribution zone, like the S&P filling its gap, is what I should have waited for. Instead of scalping QQQ against, right? And so we've now filled our gaps, and I should have waited for that and done something off of that. But anywho, in the particular mode, the first thing I do is wake up and say, "Ooh, it's a sit out day." But in all honesty, though, it's not really losing money if you are knowing that you want to sit out, and you sit out. So the rule is if I am saying my call out is, okay, you know, today's a sit out day, but I'm going to do some RDZ scalps. The RDZ was so wide. The R&R is pretty good. And of course, like, you know, while streaming, sometimes you can get a little discombobulated and not be 100% paying attention, especially get caught off guard and balancing all the other stuff that we do in the daytime. How big of a max CD am I willing to take? A max drawdown? No, but I want to aim for 10% and no more than 20. Yeah. I know that I'm right on this particular trade. I know that I'm right. So I did just have some bad positioning. I went in way too heavy too soon. I should have just put in like 3 and it took 7 at the top, but if y'all hang in here, it'll be a win by the end of the day. If we break through this yellow line, I'm just done. I won't know. But I'm pretty sure that I'm right. I try to target 10. It's a little iffy here. Let me get back to see where those. Actually, let me do a gap fill. Oh, let me do QQQ gap fill really quick. No, I'm not sure that I'm right anymore, actually, to be honest. It's a little gross and squeezy. But that yellow line was my ultimate resistance target for like the bigger trend. So that particularly right here is where I'm expecting the market to resist and reject permanently for the day. So I try to target a no more than 10%, but maximum like play style about 20% at the worst. Now in a normal day, when you have like a rational day and you should be trading, right, that's where I target that 10%. On an irrational day, I'm going to give myself some flexibility, and it's not just for the entertainment, but it's also just to demonstrate. You guys are going to learn a lot more from me if you can watch me actually. Like if I just trade and sit out and trade and sit out, and as that's how I normally do, you're going to learn a lot about sitting out and a lot about the kind of risk management style, but also seeing me maneuver a loss. You're going to learn, you know, kind of what you experience as well while you're doing. That's also a great educational opportunity as well. Yeah, if I fucked up today, I fucked up today, then that's okay. We just start over next week with a brand new mindset. But yeah, I'm not going to go much harder than this, but I want this yellow line is my rejection point. This S&P, we could get one more burp here, and then it's the rejection that I want. Let me do a QQQ daily chart. I want to make sure that I have all my pieces in front of me. Plus, also, you got to remember streaming is also very like, y'all may not be streaming. Okay, there's the big gap fill. That's what I wanted to see. 3, 10, 73. Okay, let me mark that. I know that I'm right, and I'm going to let I know my position limits that I want. Is this 31073? I do have it marked. I just traded pretty bad today, but I know that I'm right. I know that I'm right for sure. So this is 31073. Trust me, I know that I'm right. That gap fill is a bigger monthly pivot. This is just a squeeze and expiration. The only thing I was wrong about was how I traded this. I traded this like a fucking newbie, but I know that I'm right. I know that I'm going to win this trade, and I know that we're not going to sell off and short. If we do, hell, that'd be great. But I know that going from outer redistribution to upper redistribution is just a mechanic of a squeeze that's so powerful on just the index itself, where the stocks aren't really giving me a lot of oomph to say that the stock market is rallying. The stock market right now is just behaving by tracking the index itself. We have all of our short pivots are lining up today. The yellow line is there. The gap fill is there. They're all there. I waited a month to fucking short here. So let's see if I can turn this into a big win. Normally in day trading, like, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. It's a sit out day. I should have just waited and take the bigger pivot, but I got a little over eager, and when you're on a winning streak, it definitely does that. So now we're scalping from pivot to pivot. We are in that special area that I'm looking for. I'm going to hold a second time since I'm looking for the volume spike and decay. Let's go ahead and do the ES on a 1 minute chart. Going to watch this. ES is hopefully can control the market. The S&P stocks start going lower, then I'm going to feel really good about my... I'm just going to put this like right here on the screen so you can watch them all together. Okay. Oof. So this is not a normal thing we would do, but you get to watch something cool. So I did convert, and this is something I also teach people not to do. Don't convert your day trade mentality into, I'm just going to wait for the swing. That's what I waited for, this yellow line all day. The first thing we said this morning was, this is my short resistance, right? That's one of the first things we talk about. Yellow line rejection is one of the biggest things. And I'll make this really big on the chart. So it looks like we're finally digging back a little bit. I did want to short really big from here. Okay. These yellow lines are rock solid pivots. Now, my pivot between what I look for first and second resistance is from yellow back to green. This is my trade today. I'm going to take it. Going from lower DD band to upper DD band. When you're irrational, right, and DD is greater than 1/2, which it is, it's 0.87. We expect the market to touch the upper band before the lower band. And as you see, we traded off the non-farms to a low, and then all of a sudden the market rallied to the high, right? This is a catalyst. It's unusual. It's irrational. And so in this particular mode, I should not be trading at all. But because I'm trading on a bigger pivot, this is a bigger resistance for the bigger bear market, which my thesis does support. Expirations at the end of the day, Marie. And so the idea is that while this upper band is preferential, NASDAQ, which has been leading the way, is at its resistance that I've been wanting to short from for freaking ever ago. Okay, so that is my upper resistance for NASDAQ, period, for the rest of the month. So I should have just waited and taken that off the cup trade against yellow from now. Well, let's do it. Let me show you how this works. This is one of our favorite techniques. And I just kind of mark these pivots because as I'm scalping these red lines, if you've ever seen me scalp before, what the red lines are doing are marking where my entries are going to be in both directions, right? So you can see that I'm doing anchor, stop trying to adjust where I put this. Do you see that I'm doing, let's kind of go back. I'm doing bigger red lines, right? Okay, so that actually cleared out. So I'm gonna delete the ones that have already hit. So these are return pivots on the way up and down. This is what I want to mark to make sure I know where my pivots are, right? This is an impact red line that created a run length all the way to the top. The run length is acting as resistance. Good. This is the trade I wanted. I wanted to short from here all the way back to there for the course of a longer period of time. I want us to get all the way back into the rational zone. So what I want to see is I want to see volume come through. And again, these are techniques that will be built in the Rocket Scooter later. But in general, if you are scalping and you want to have some fun scalping the ranges and you're irrational, it's like you should scalp small, not with your normal position size. So, so in this realm, I'm not using like the normal Rocket Scooter stuff. Like liquidity maps, they don't apply. When you're irrational territory, you don't use them. Hit that like for the full transparency. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I love y'all to death. Dude, we had the biggest stream we've ever had today. And I know if you're like, I don't know if you should be trading for views. Let me tell you something. When you're losing a trade, all the naysayers like to come in and go, oh, he's finally losing. Let's go watch. We had the biggest stream we've ever had today. We still do. Even when the stream was a peak concurrent of like 175 people. That's the biggest it's ever been. Trust me when I say, like, me sitting out, and I know this from my marketing team. They were like, you know, you go on the spaces and they're like, so Matt, what are you doing today? Well, I'm sitting out. It's the correct thing to do, blah, blah, blah. And then people are like, shut up, nerd. And they throw you, you know, 1,000% YOLO Tesla calls, bro. And then I'm like, bleh, right? Like, who's this nerd sitting out? Well, I mean, appropriately, we do train you guys to not do what I'm doing, which is why when I do it, I say, don't go off the cuff. I know what my max drawdown is going to be because I know I'm trying to pivot this yellow line, right? And I'm like, man, I'm going to dip below 10K for a hot minute. But literally, people are like, I'm like, so Matt, what's your trade today? I used to be on Play of the Week with Stock Talk Weekly. I don't really do it much anymore. But that was one of my favorite podcasts that we did. I love those guys, Stock Talk Weekly and Bracco and Patrick, right? Those are some of my homeboys. And like, we'd go on Play of the Week and they always had a play. And half of the time I was like, I don't really have a play. I'm kind of just like, I don't really have a direction. I think the market's kind of balanced. I'm going to sit out. Kind of an unsexy answer. And nobody really like followed me, right? When I'd go to those podcasts. So I don't do anymore. I was like, I'm just wasting my time because nobody wants to hear the unsexy answer. People just want you to hold their hand and tell them what to do. That's why they get attracted to like dog shit video game style trading systems, because they don't care that they lose money as long as you're telling them what to do. They feel like they've made something. Look, I fucking made everything back today. I know I was fucking right. And so like, people are like, just tell me what to do, man. I don't care if I'm losing money. Just tell me what to do. Let me just trim a teeny little bit because I'm at my target. So here to here was my actual trade. Now, again, I get to decide, do I want to place some more or not to get back to the zone? This is the whole thing, right? Is that people want to feel like they're being told what to do more than they want to hear the right answer. So they want you to say, what is your play of the week? Well, sitting out. Well, nobody wants to sit out. People don't trade to sit out. People, they want to sit out. They don't get involved in trading. Like, you were born sitting out of the market. You never heard of this thing before. So once you enter the market, somebody's saying like, well, the answer is you shouldn't be trading, right? Well, I'm here to trade though. And I mean, you're like, but yeah, but you need to learn when it's time, when it's not. It's clearly it's not time to trade. And so that's how it normally is. And on the stream, there are other ways to trade besides Rocket Scooter style. Rocket Scooter style says irrational, don't do anything and sit out. We're irrational on the NASDAQ. We're irrational on the NASDAQ, right? And we're irrational on the SPY. Rocket Scooter style says sit out and don't do anything. But there are still pivots to trade. You just have to know what you're in for and not over leverage and not be caught in a weird thing. And so my pivots are yellow line is a resistance, green line's a support. I should have closed everything there, but I still believe now that resilience is going back to being negative, that we're back down to lower RDZ. And I'm going to add to my position right here. On the greens. Remember, I'm only shorting on greens, not shorting on reds. 809, scalping back down to 803. I'm building a position to build a position, and I'm scalping between here. My overall position is short, so when I hit a level, I'm adding. When I hit a level, I'm closing. You guys have watched me do scalping position basis management all day long. I'm maintaining my max position size from the start of the day all day long. I'm closing at a target. I'm adding at a target, I'm closing at a target, and I'm building the position. So if that bigger trade takes off, you're going to see a very, very, very prominent return in general. All of this has been part of one trade. I've just been dealing with my shitty positioning from the start. Had a really bad position. You have to manage your risk in irrational. You do. Let me double check resilience. I got that on the screen. Still negative, right? We're still overshot, which I like. These are adjustment pivots. My bigger thing is if we're above this yellow line, I'm done on my fundamental thesis. The positioning is bearish in general. In general, the positioning is bearish. And we had a whole thing on this. So I wanted to short yellow line literally for the last month. And this is a bigger deal. We talk about this before, but if the market is flat and people are shorting against the dealers being the long, this little kind of like flag shaped thing on the commitment of traders is the thing that raised my alarm on my tweet. Let me see if I can't find that tweet really quick and I'll show it to you guys. I like the idea that y'all get to watch me play with the loss. My DD went out of bounds, but I'm kind of like trading out of bounds. So I don't like that I did take the drawdown that I did. It's not my normal risk management. Normal risk management is I would sit out. So if you guys are saying, why would you do this or do that? Is because at this point I am holding on to the day trade for too long to add into the trade I actually wanted, which I should have just waited for to begin with. So let me find that tweet really quick that I did. And that's the whole reason you don't trade irrational. You don't want to get caught in things like that. Let me find this thing that I'm looking for. Okay, so this was the image I was going to look for. This is the one. This is the thing, right? This is what I want y'all to learn today. This is actually really fun. Typically, when you see the area where the longs have gone up and you see this deviation, right? Where you see red going long and blue going short, longs typically get squeezed as longs are getting trapped, okay? Red going up, blue going short, longs are getting trapped, longs get squeezed. I know the squeeze is powerful today, but I know that I'm right. It is the same setup as before. May of 2022, you see it. You see it. You see it. This is the last place of chopping and squeezing longs. I might be a week or two early, but this is the top, in my opinion, of this range. This is very powerful, and you've seen this in May of 2020. In May of 2022, again, let me share on the commitment of traders what this is. Like, I know that I'm right. I'm just early, which sometimes means that you're wrong. Okay. So this is where I'm going. May of 2020. Let's go back 5 years. Trust me, I know that I'm right. Talked about this in chat. We talked about this in yesterday's actually, no, we didn't talk about the commitment of traders yesterday, 2 days ago. We mentioned it. Whenever you get this pattern, I'm going to explain it to you because I know that I'm right. I'm just early. I just had bad positioning, but we're going to turn this L into a big win today, because I'm very convinced that today is going to shock Wall Street and be the way that goes. When market makers are long, when market makers are becoming more long against the hedge funds building a short, keep an eyeball in there for me. I know that I'm right. I know that I'm right. I just had bad positioning. This is a fundamental trade, and of course it's got some technical pivots that we're playing on. But I know that I just know that I'm right. And you see that in this mode, longs buy. The next step usually is the market makers will squeeze out the longs. They're trying to, the market makers have accumulated some shares, okay? And I may not be right until Monday, which is the one part that does make me sad. I could not, maybe I'm not right today because the squeezing mechanics may be the final trap of people. But when you are below zero, right? When market makers are long, number one, MM greater than 0, net long. Markets don't crash. They don't sell off. Okay, so check. Market makers are below 0. That's good. Number two, when market makers are forced to long or cover shorts against a growing hedge fund short, so people are entering new shorts and people are entering new longs, it's stretching the market and becoming more liquid, right? People are buying stock and people are shorting stock, and the market makers are now covering shorts against the dealers. I'm sorry, the dealers are covering shorts against the hedge funds. Okay. But in this mode, what the dealers are doing are stepping away as shorts are trading against longs. This is what we call an accumulation zone or accumulation mode right now. The market makers are in this mode raising price on the longer term, right, to find sellers. As they currently are somewhere, people are shorting. So they're getting shorts or sellers now, but they're raising price again to find sellers, because when people are actually buying, find sellers is number as one mode or attract buyers. I want to see a little bit more momentum here. Resilience is negative on NASDAQ. That's giving me a little bit of hope. So if they are raising price, right, and you attract some longs, they're trying to redistribute a position or attract buyers to the market. You're seeing this right now. And so in this mode where it's dealers against hedge funds, and then all of a sudden like buyers start to step in, markets become unusually volatile. And it, depending on the mechanics of the market you're in. Now, this is post-COVID, so this isn't the best example, but it is an example. Actually, I circled the wrong spot. Come on. Where's my undo? Oops. Once you attract a little bit of buyers, then you get that resistance in selling. This was a great example of it as well. This is the perfect example. You start to attract a little bit of longs right here, right? You're going to attract some buyers at the dip, but that short is just much more powerful than the long. So the way you look at it is the slope of the two. This is advanced stuff. And I teach so many lessons on the COT. It's great. What you want to see is you're attracting buyers, right? The market's liquid when you attract new buyers, but your seller's slope is bigger, okay, than the buyers, right? This blue is much steeper than this green is, and you'll have to zoom in and see it, but it's definitely true. Okay, so there's not a lot of buyers that are being attracted. So now this is the week delayed data, but look at the slope difference, right? The green is just barely moving up against the blue coming down, and you're seeing the same thing. Now, the scare on the greater bear thesis would be that the market maker somehow becomes squeezed positive again, which would be rare. It's not normal that happens. They normally go positive and then positive again and stay there. It could be a secondary wave if the buying power is strong enough now, and that would just be a bet on the FOMC being very dovish going into the rest of the year. But the idea is that if you're not attracting a lot of buyers right here, and instead more people are shorting, there are people are selling and the dealers go, well, there are no buyers. And you raise price to find sellers. Well, as they're raising price, they're certainly finding sellers, aren't they, where I'm circling? Remember, market makers raise price to find sellers. And as they're raising price, they're finding more and more sellers, more and more shorts, and fewer people are buying. And that's the thesis, right? Is that fundamentally, if we're not finding buyers here, as you're raising price, you are finding more sellers than buyers. And typically they squeeze longs first before they raise the price to rally. So what they do which is what's happening now, is because they've raised price and they're finding a lot of sellers over the last month or two. You've just got options expiring now, and longs are getting trapped into this, and that's the lesson on the COT. I love these COT lessons, though. It's the slope, and you can see very clearly that you're getting some people buying here off of earnings, but as they're raising price, they're finding the sellers, and you only raise price to look for sellers, and you have them. Do we all understand the principle? So I know that I'm right. Just pure liquidity analysis. You are getting some buyers here, but there's not enough to facilitate the sellers. So what happens is, as the dealers themselves are becoming less and less short, but they themselves aren't long, they're not going to rally or like raise the price against themselves if they're short. They're going to raise the price until they get overwhelmed with sellers and then turn around and back down. I'm either right today or I'm going to be right on Monday, but we're going to wake up and it's going to be a really nasty week. If it squeezes high today on the green, we're going to open up and start selling on Monday. If this is just expiration mechanics, then okay. Yeah. So my favorite trader, let's read, you guys haven't read the comments yet. At some point you'll be right, but how big of a max do you, oh, we're gonna talk about that handout, Matt. You're a tough and genius trader. Thank you guys, love y'all. Is this expiration a certain time, like 1 p.m.? Options expire at the end of the day, the end of the equity session. Let's go ahead and double check what's going on right here. Res is still bouncing 0 on Qs. Let's see what the S&P is looking like today. Yes, the SPY still hasn't connected with upper DD though. The real trade I want is the rejection from yellow line. Let me double check I'm not overlooking one on S&P. Like I said, we need to make sure we have all of our ducks in a row. The scary thing is we get one final burp into here and then we don't get the trade I want today. Tomorrow is going to be pretty gross. Or Monday's going to be pretty gross. Make sure I have not missed a single one. Let's go all the way back. Look at Hughes first. I just know in general how positional risk works. I just know that I'm correct on that. I'm just probably early. Okay, then how many marked on Qs? And I just want that to be the final move there. They trap some longs and then all of a sudden they turn. Now again, it could be something that doesn't play out until next week, but so we're trying to mark a couple of these things really quick. Y'all see, come next week and you'll see. Let me see how far back as I can go. Oops. We will go to a Zoom call in a little bit, which is what we normally will do at the end of a stream. Oh, there's an S. Oh, how the fuck did I miss this? There's an S&P yellow line right here. Oh, there we go. That's also good. Wow, this is me not doing my homework, you guys. I get too busy. I get way too busy building the platform and I don't do my homework. I do it, but I missed one. Oh, wait. Okay. Shit. Okay, let's measure where that is. The S&P will likely be where the pivot is. I hope it's not much higher. I don't want to take any drawdown. Let's make sure. That is the resistance for the S&P. And we did hit it yesterday. Okay, good. If that S&P resistance does hold and hit and keep going, then the thesis is that there's just more buyers and sellers, and that's going to be the finality of that. Let me mark this really quick. We are in March. This is a major. It takes money to make money, right? Okay. March 23. Okay. Okay, let's go. 4205. And we did hit that. That's good. I normally have them all marked up, but I certainly did not do this one. Perfect. Okay. So the yellow line technique is something that is very, very, very important to the bigger trading setup. What you'll have to understand is that when markets are moving up in waves, these are predictive ranges of how far I want the move to go. And when I'm looking for swing shorts or reversals, like grander reversals, like I feel like this is the high of the market in general for the next month, or at least through earnings, these yellow lines are my targets by making those bigger decisions, like this is a reversal point. So are we reversing while irrational? I don't know. Obviously the guess is there, but this is the pivot I wanted to see. This rejection is there. Thank God it's not up here, because then I could say, well, squeeze further. If we do break through here, my brain immediately goes to there. So the idea is this is the bigger reversal for the next week or two, and I hope we get it, but we're going to have to see. If I took some drawdown on my way, then I took some drawdown on my way, then that happens. These I have to remove because they no longer apply. I really need to catch up here and make sure I got all of these here. What is this technique? It's pretty cool. It is a predictive technique. As you see from this day, had I had it marked, which I am very silly for not doing so. And let's mark the other one here. I kind of got halfway through with it. I think on the stream I just get so busy I don't wrap up this and actually take care of business. Don't show names. The P&L curve is going to look really weird. But hey, you know what? This is what happens. Okay, here's the last yellow line right here. There are three of them sitting next to each other, and they themselves are pivots. Watch, I'll show you what this one's pretty cool. When I show you the S&P, you're going to love it. You guys are going to love this technique. Do you see these rock solid pivots against those yellow lines, guys? You see that? You see that? This is a technique that you have to learn. I don't care what you're trading. So everybody here today, right? You guys all know that my call is like, as a student, we tell you to sit out. So we're watching me trade. The idea is today, just learn from watching me trade. Watch me take a loss. Watch me handle the loss, and watch me do it. So I'm not doing what you shouldn't ever do is like, okay, I lost a day trade. Let me justify and turn it into a swing trade. It's not a swing trade, as I'm going to close out at the end of the day. But we have to make sure that we have all the pieces, and I was missing all the pieces today. I should have done my homework and known where these pivots are, which again, building a trading platform does zap a lot of my time, and also handling, growing the group. So let me really quick. But as you do know, Rocket Scooter's tools do say sit out. So it would have told you would have been experiencing some crazy choppy day today. And so that's the best part, right? You would have known to sit out. So here's all my yellow line pivots. One cool thing to note is that when you get to them, watch what happens, right? I've marked all three of them on the charts. Some of them are old, some of them are new. I label which contract they come from. You cannot argue with what you see. Do you see how this is a resistance and this is a resistance? Those are predictable high volume pivots, right? And these are my greater fundamental understandings, is that if I'm bearish or trying to be bearish the market and I want to short against something, I short against a yellow line on a bigger fundamental push. Like the trades yesterday, those I did not have marked, even though I was scalping some shorts. I should have paid attention and done my homework the right way, but hey, look at this. Let's turn this into a win. Today's pivoting off of this yellow line, stupid me didn't mark them. There's these high volume pivots off of those. I did not see yellow line support off of this. So as we rejected and supported, this is a transitional shift against that bigger bull run. And then my bigger resistance is here, which is the scary part. That's the part that has me worried. Is that while the S&P has a rejection point at 4205, right? We've already rejected it. So if this is the pivot for the market to trade lower, then I'm happy. That's what I do want to see. But if we break through here, then, you know, you've got free reign to continue to break out and rally. And again, Monday will be a whole different ball game. I believe personally that this was the pivot. That is the pivot, but I should have marked all of those up correctly to do my homework the right way. Let's do all the NASDAQ ones. So remember, just kind of showing you where the S&P ones are on these dates. We've got expiration Friday, Wednesday, and Wednesday. Okay. This technique is pretty badass. We'll double check. How do I get those numbers? Let's go here. This is going to be on the Discord, has all the bots. Also is up pretty late last night. Double checking that NQ yellow line is 860.25. Just double check this distance. That is correct, right? 860.25. Let's make sure we measure those correctly. Oh, this is it, sorry. That is correct. Okay, let's make this a little bigger. Take this over here so I can see it. Just gonna mark these guys slightly bigger so you can see them on the hourly chart. $12,860, 11,860.25. I'm gonna do 11,860, 11,000. All right. I'm gonna have to estimate these from here because it's too far back. But normally what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post these for y'all so that you have them. And there's the current spread on the NASDAQ. So let's make a, like I said, this technique is dope. This one is old. This one is old. They still are pivots, but that's not the current pivot. Once you break through these impact red lines, they're not considered anymore on the grander thesis. These are. So we're going to go back and show you how to do them live. This is a great technique. This is this is Rocketeer Legacy calcs. And they kind of like when you're in irrational markets, these are called illiquidity pivots. So irrational markets tend to be very illiquid. And so you resort to this. So the idea is what is this yellow line and red line thing this guy's talking about? Why are we not just using doomsday, resilience, liquidity maps, right? Those are for nice, clean, rational, robotic markets. Oops. When markets are irrational, you have to take into account illiquidity pivots where these larger bands of illiquidity take over. And this is something that is actually going to be worked on in Program to Rocket Scooter. We just need to get ourselves our futures data to be able to do it for y'all. Okay. So that one's done. Let's go ahead and go back to two of them. And I'm going to show you where these pivots are. Again, I'm not looking at the chart. I'm just doing them where they need to go. And I'm going to show you something very, very, very cool. I mean, like very, very, very cool. To go with it. We're going to have to kind of tuck into a Zoom call to wrap up the day. We normally go to Zoom just so we're not on YouTube all day. If you guys want to follow the legacy, follow the rest of the stream, of course, and see what the outcome of my trade is. I'm not going to be on YouTube all day. We usually cut the stream right about 11. It's about 30 minutes. We're going to go. I invite you all to come and watch the outcome of the day. We'll be still streaming in Zoom. Of course, P&L will be posted just to show transparency, like we always are transparent, everything we do. And what the finality of what I want to see is for the day. Like I said, I know that I'm right. I'm just probably a day early. But once we got through Apple, Amazon, Amazon, Facebook, all of these companies had their earnings. Okay. What's left? The market structurally is setting up for another scary wave of bearishness. Today is the finality of trapping bulls. And I am probably the first bear to the party, but I'm usually the first to the party. And again, being first doesn't necessarily mean being right out the door. But I know that my read on the commitment of traders is never wrong. It is literally the real positioning of the market. Now, Wall Street may change their mind and then I could be wrong. That's different. But the commitment of traders is never wrong. Positional risk is never wrong. People are positioned a certain way. And when you look at those patterns on that COT that I showed you is a sign of a greater bear market. Now, timing a market, and especially timing a bear market, is probably the hardest thing you can do. You might ask Michael Burry how fun that was trying to bet when the actual housing market would collapse. But I know in general, positionally, the Nasdaq resilience is negative. The stocks are not budging. Unless the stocks get squeezed in today's, and the dealers are trying to push people in the stocks, and I get that scary squeeze against me, okay. Different story. But I'm going to tell you something. My read is not wrong. I'm probably wrong on when I think it's going to pivot. But I think this was it. This, in my opinion, was it. These yellow lines, just make sure I got them on the spot I need to be on. Oops. That's what I need to click. Just going to make sure I've got them right on the edge where they need to be. And this is the final move. If there's a reversal, it starts on Monday. If it doesn't start on Monday, then we've got another. Remember, I'm going to show you guys one more trick too. We're going to run a monthly map right now on the index. And if we see that positional shift, 10:30, European markets just closed to finalize their week. This is where this sudden burp of volatility is coming from. Okay. These are those levels. If we close above here, then all bets are off on the reversal next week. Res is still negative. That index is getting squeezed so hard right now. Okay, we're going to tuck into Zoom, guys. Come on over to our Zoom call. I want everybody... That is the last catalyst I'm waiting for. I want everybody to do me a favor. Head over to the Discord really quick. We shall continue the saga in Discord. I'm going to put a link for our Zoom call. We're going to have an educational Zoom call. I'm still going to stick with my trade. I still am going to work on it, but I might close it out just where we are. So we'll see. Everybody go here really quick. That's funny. Well, no, I know I'm right fundamentally. I just know I might not be right on the trade. Okay. We'll see you guys in just a little bit. Head over to that Zoom. And let me pull up the S&P 1 file time. All right. This is it. Okay. Damn it. Not really liking this at all. Okay. This is the resistance I was looking for earnings to top off and kill off at. We go right over here. This is that upper redistribution zone on SPY. That is that resistance I do want to see. As stocks are selling in this final squeeze to the top, it's going to be the next hour candle if there is any selling that I'm expecting to see any selling on. Look, this is just hugging zero. That's it. The stocks are not budging. The VIX is starting to build also. So come continue legacy with continue the day with us today. Right, we're even in a bull zone in the VIX. It is looking scary. Yeah, it's at that pivot right now. I know. That was my last little thing I said today. I got one more scare, is that I'm going to get a bump up here on SPY. Okay, we'll see how I do. That is what I wanted to see. The resistance on SPY. Okay. We're going to go to Zoom. We'll still be streaming live, so we're not cutting the stream. Because we're in a loss, this is normal time. We usually cut the stream about an hour or so. Unless it's FOMC, sometimes we'll stay there all day, but this is the time to go. We'll continue streaming in Zoom. Everybody, you must come to Discord to get that Zoom link and see how the saga plays out. You want to see if we win or lose, come to the free Zoom call. We love y'all, and we're going to call it a day. Now again, today we had a really, really, really fun day. Right? Irrational out the door. My call was, okay, you know, we're irrational. We're going to sit out. But hey, I'm going to do some trades. Even though the calls that I had, Rocket Scooter told me to sit out, but still we want to do some scalping because in a greater fundamental thing, I think the market's bearish and I may want to do something. Now I did kind of loss. Tells me I should not break my own rules and not day trade when I shouldn't be. But that's the power of knowing when to sit out. And as a human, sometimes you just do human stuff. But come over and check out Rocket Scooter if you guys want to know. Get all of our techniques and tools. We have a free trial and you guys can check it out. And we'll see how the saga plays out. Come over to the Zoom call we're about to do in just a second. Today's going to be an educational session training on one really, really, really awesome technique that we want y'all to learn about. And it's going to be these yellow lines and red lines we're talking about today. So these are pivoting techniques called illiquidity pivots, and they are awesome. So come on over and check it out. Yeah, we'll probably end up green by the end of the day. We'll see. All right, we love you guys, and we'll see y'all later.